All right, 6:53 at News 96.5 WDBO. If you follow us on Twitter or you follow me at Radio Marino, you know that we have a special guest this segment from the Hall Oates Band, one of the most successful in the history of music. It's saxophone and keyboard player and Orlando resident, I might add, Charlie DeChant. Charlie, great to speak with you.
Hi, Tony. Good to speak to you, too.
Well, you have a whole lot going on. Obviously, there's a lot that we would want to talk to you about, and we have a limited amount of time, but I wanted to ask you right out of the gate, Hall & Oates playing at the Amway Center just a few weeks ago. How awesome was that playing in your hometown?
It's always awesome, and it's always like kind of stressful because everybody I know wants to go to the show, and I can't get them all in.
Right. Hey, you got tickets? You got tickets, right? So, yeah. As a former disc jockey, I know the story of Daryl and John meeting up in an elevator. But how did you get into the band back in 1976?
I didn't meet them in an elevator. I had a couple of friends, musicians in Miami, that I played with, and I played on particularly the bass player's demos. They still, like Eddie still lives in Miami, and Steve, the bass player, lives in Edgewater. But they were in the band. They had gone up to New York and had joined Hall & Oates, and Hall & Oates wanted to add a guy that played saxophone, conga drums, and Hammond organ. And I said, all right, I play saxophone. Please don't make me play conga drums because it tears up my hands, and I don't play that great. Hammond organ, if somebody can start it for me, I can play it. So I went up and I auditioned for them, and I got the gig. So. 2 weeks later, I gave my band in Miami 2 weeks' notice, and I was up there rehearsing them with them 2 weeks later.
I guess equally as amazing as getting into the band is you have managed to stay with the band for 40 years. So congratulations, and you also have your own local band, right? Charlie DeChant and the Kings who will be performing this Friday night at the Blue Bamboo Center in Winter Park. So if folks know anything about you, if they're Hall & Oates fans, if they want to see some good sax and keyboard playing, you want to get out there and check that out. And real quick, before we run out of time, because I know you wanted to talk about this, your wife wrote a book too, right?
She did. It's basically about her life, and
it's about being married to a rock and roll star who's out on the road all the time.
Yeah, well, that's a big part of her life. We got married like about 3 months before I joined Hall & Oates, So yeah, that's a big part of her life. And and she writes songs. She's got like one song in each of my CDs. I have three CDs out now, and I'm working on a fourth, almost done. Hopefully, I'll be finished with it this year.
Now, what kind of music does Charlie DeChant and the Kings perform? What are people going to see on Friday night?
Yeah, it's basically all instrumental music, and it's very jazz influenced. There's also like touches of blues, New Orleans funk, and maybe even some folk. I've got one song that's very Indian music influenced too. So it's mixed around, but you're going to hear a lot of saxophones, flutes. The band is. Steve Sinkowitz plays piano and accordion, also synthesizer. Tommy Calvin plays guitar, electric and acoustic. Cadillac Cardaroli plays drums and percussion, and Larry Jacoby plays bass.
Well, unfortunately, because you invited me out there, but unfortunately I can't make it this Friday night, but I would love to come out and see the band at another, somewhere else at another time. Charlie DeChant of the Hall & Oates Band. You never know who your neighbor is. Charlie has been living right here in East Orlando for 30, 40 years while spending most of his time out on the road with Hall & Oates.
I've been here actually about 27 years.
All right, and you can check them out Friday night at the Blue Bamboo Center in Winter Park, 6:58 at News 96.5 WDBO.